our thing is we need to be that trusted advisor. We need to go from a transactional sale to a consultative sale to a trusted advisor. And once you got the trusted advisor, they'll ask you everything. I always tell my customers before you make any decision about a third party in company or one of our partners, ask me before you go do anything because I'm going to give you the honest answer. And I'm very transparent. And transparency really is the key to building those relationships. You've got to build that relationship.
You're listening to the Sales Today podcast, and I'm your host, Fred Copestake. On this podcast, we explore how sales professionals can develop a modern approach to winning business, the application of virtual selling techniques, how to create meaningful business relationships, and much more. Why not take our free collaborative selling scorecard to see how your sales approach suits today's environment? You'll find a link in the show notes. And welcome to this episode of the Sales Today podcast, where I'm delighted to be joined by Jay Hoffman. Jay is Key Account Manager at Esri. So Jay, welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me.
And could you just give a little overview of what Esri do and what you do particularly at Esri?
Yeah, absolutely. So Esri stands for Environmental System Research Institute, which was started way back in the day by our president, Jack and Laura Dangerman. What we are is we're a mapping company, but we're more than just a mapping company. We help solve people's problems through maps and how maps tell stories and can jump off that map rather than looking at a Excel spreadsheet or any other type of a flat file that you're looking at. So it gives you better making decisions through your organization.
Awesome. I'd like to know the stories that maps tell. I mean, that's a different podcast, because what I wanted to talk to you about is that we've chatted a little bit offline. I'm live as well, and whether it's completely unique, but it's a little bit different with your position, is that you are in sales, clearly, but you are salary only or no commission. How do you explain that? You had slightly different words for it. I'm kind of using the English
Yeah.
expressions.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we're non-commissioned sales. That's kind of what started that back from Jack Dangerman way back in the year, because his parents were immigrants from Dutch immigrants, and when they started a nursery called Dangerman Nursery in Redlands, California, where the corporate office is at. And his dad always said to him, be sure that you take care of your employees and take care of your customers, and then everything will be fine. So he still does that today. And by us taking care of our customers, he felt that going non-commissioned sales, we would get the true solving the customer's problems, if you will, rather than having a commission there and that all your is going to go for the big bucks, basically.
I will make my solution fit the problem that you don't have.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And so that's how we are and I prefer non-commission sales because you get to be your natural self and really building that relationship with the customer, and the customer not thinking that you're just there to sell them something and then you're off and you're gone to the next one. We build relationships after we sell our software. At the very end, we don't just go away. They have a whole team of myself as the account person, to our training, to our solution engineers, to anybody else that customers want to speak with, even from a corporate standpoint, to help them solve more problems that they might have or things they may run into that require those types of expertise that we don't particularly offer as an account manager.
I'll come back to that sales process, but I mean, I love that it's about take care of your employees, take care of your customers, take care of. When did he say that? When was that set up?
That was back in the day when his dad, when they had the Dangerman Nursery. Jack would go, and as a kid, he worked there, and then he would help plan people's, flower beds, front yards, backyards as a planning, like an urban planning kind of thing. And so that's, his dad always said that take care of your employees and take care of your customers. And throughout the day, Jack would so his parents sent him to Cal Poly to go to school for urban design. And he's had brilliant professors over there. And he's also a Harvard graduate. And so it's just kind of one thing led to another, and then they started this consulting company, and he and his wife Laura, and then it turned into, they're like, hey, we can make a business out of this. And so that's how Esri really came about.
Brilliant. So I mean, you alluded there to the sales process where you sort of said, yeah, you'll start getting in touch with customers and all the way through the life cycle. So let's go through that from the very beginning. Now, whether that's you or whether that's someone else involved,
Yeah,
what does that look like? What is your sales process, or how do you align for the buying journey? Because you're looking after customers.
sure,
Oh, yeah.
sure, absolutely. It's a model that I use nowadays from one of my local customers. So when we're prospecting, we're all, prospect, right? So this was an account. It was Mustang SUD, that stands for Special Utility District, and he was on my target list. And after call after call after call, the key there is persistence. Don't give up. It
Mm,
will happen. And then finally, one day he answered the phone and he said, thank you for continuing to follow up with me. So I ended up having a meeting. We went through everything. And after several meetings, they have a full GIS department of people that are specific to using GIS within the utility, as far as mapping their assets of valves, meters, hydrants, getting away from, the key is getting away from paper workflows to digital transformation. And so once we had that, then they started, they hired some other experts in the field for their department. And so they were doing a lot of good stuff, but they they know they could do better. And so we had the next phase of after prospecting is doing a discovery call.
mm,
And so a discovery call can be ever how long you want it to be. We did this one an all day affair where we presented, then we had every department within that utility at separate times come in and tell us what's their wish list. Basically, that GIS would help make their work a lot easier. And from field techs, they had about 25 field techs that showed up in the room, which was amazing. And they don't hold back. Those guys in the field, they don't hold back.
I
Good,
bet they don't.
good, bad, or the ugly, right? So,
Oh, you'll get the ugly, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. That the ugly comes first. It should be the
Of
good,
course.
the bad, and
The
but
ugly are slightly all right. Yeah.
yeah, but that helps us solve their problem. That's what it's all about. And so we had all the different departments: engineering, customer service, field techs, operations, all of that. And then at the end of when that day was over, it was from like 9 to 4. It was a full day deal. And then what we do after that, we leave, we gather our notes, we build a post presentation, basically of what we heard from the discovery call, and then present that back. And then as an account manager, we do this thing called a solution diagram, where it's basic, like what other types of solutions that Esri has that they could do quick wins at, like a hydrant inspection or a sewer inspection, things that are, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then to a timeline, we look at 3 years out where they're going to be in 3 years and stuff. And then we go back and we present them being local. My manager and I, we went to them and gave an in-person presentation. And then basically we tell them what our recommendation is as far as purchasing the software at that point. And they followed through with everything from working with one of our partners to training to the what we call our small utility enterprise agreement. And they're set. And now they're they're doing really well. I hear from them, and I do cadence calls. That's the next thing. So when all that's all over and done, your work is really not done. Your work is just beginning, making sure that they're delivered. We've delivered what we promised to them as far as software and how are things going and stuff like that. And so we'll have monthly cadence calls or whatever the customer wants. So that's kind of my end to end
Hmm.
my end to end process, and it works whether it's a small one or it's a large utility.
Because of what it sounds like to me, because of that importance that you put on the discovery, you're saying, hey, look, we don't need to rush through this. I don't need to bang through 20 discovery calls a day. You can have all day. Get in here, tell us about the stuff, let us understand it. We're gonna go away and we're gonna build this all around you.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we say, have do you have a geospatial strategy for
Mm,
GIS? And that's a fancy word, geospatial strategy for planning, designing, going in the field. It's everything. It's kind of our pillars, if you will,
yeah.
of what we do. And the most important thing in all of this, it's not like, boom, I've got my data and I'm ready to go. Well, that's the foundation is your data. We have schemas that you can put it in, but most of the utilities we deal with as an account manager on our mid-market team, which is smaller utilities, but a lot of their data is not right. So we ask them to do a data readiness assessment and get that data. It's like building a house. If you don't have the foundation of the data, you can't go any further. And once you build that foundation, then the sky's the limit of what you can do with our tools.
Yeah. So let's come back. So again, I think people listening will recognize that as a solid sales process, the sort of things that we need to do, we need to go through. Um, but there's no commission involved in this. What is the reason for you to want to do this? What drives you to be successful in it? Because it ain't
It, it,
getting
yeah,
extra money for to doing the deal, is it?
yeah. I mean, I've been with Esri for 25 years now, and the last 8 has been on our water sector team. And what drives me to do that is the customer. I know it can sound kind of corny, but it really is the customer. And I love dealing. I'm that type of a person. And I go in to accounts and we're talking, and I'll just be up front. I say, look, I'm here to solve your problems. We're not on commission. And a lot of customers will appreciate that because I went into one account one time and the guy says, "Oh, you're just here to sell me something." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm here to help solve your problem." And by the end of the call, he was buying some software.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
You know?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you buy or not. I've got to do something today.
Yeah, yeah. So he realized that the value that GIS brings to the table to people to
Yeah.
make their jobs easier, especially when you have field tech guys that have been at a utility. One of the big things is the institutional knowledge is they've been there for 30, 40 years and they have all that information in their head. And
Mm,
so if you don't capture it out of their head before they retire, or unfortunately if they pass on, that information's gone. And so the utilities say, well, I got to get out my metal detector now and go find all these valves and everything and start all over again. So that's why we want them to move from paper workflows to digital. So the next person that comes along, it'll be there for them.
yeah. But that's interesting. What you're saying though is that immediately you come in and the people's barriers go up. It's, you're a salesperson. You tried to sell me something. You're going to do one on me. They get wary of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm not even on commission. It doesn't matter. And you said that people just change then. It's almost like a flicker switch and they just become different in the way they engage with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's what our thing is we need to be that trusted advisor. We need to go from a transactional sale to a consultative sale to a trusted advisor. And once you got the trusted advisor, they'll ask you everything. I always tell my customers before you make any decision about a third party in company or one of our partners, ask me before you go do anything, because I'm going to give you the honest answer, and I'm very transparent. And transparency really is the key to building those relationships. You've got to build that relationship. I think people, sales accounts, and I talk to many account managers in other sectors within our company and some of our vendors, account people that I work with closely. It's like all I hear is excuses. And I'm like, that don't, I'll tell them straight up, there's no excuses. You have to know when your customer's fiscal year is. Boom. If you don't know that, then you're going to be lost. And then they start talking about, oh, well, the holidays are coming up, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, that's an excuse. Business doesn't stop. So you got to start looking at, you got to know when their fiscal year is. So you know where you got to start talking to them to get ready for the next year.
I mean, again, I'm just picking, you see me scribbling away here when you're saying things, and something I wrote and then put a little circle around it, which means it's important. You put transparency is the key to relationships. So, I mean, one element of your transparency is, hey, look, you know, I'm not getting paid commission on this. You know, you're giving people that information. What other things do you do to be transparent then? What other things work for you?
Other things that work for me, other outside of my normal portfolio accounts, is I also do what's called our small utility enterprise agreement renewals for all of our customers. Or for, yeah, for all, I mean, for all my account managers, customers. And this way it leaves them with, they can just go do prospecting and sell and help the customer, because this is a very tedious work. So I have meetings when they come up every 3 years, and so we go through whatever's new or things that's coming up. And right now there's some things that are happening that I have to have these conversations, because I don't like to surprise a customer with something they don't know. So I work months ahead of time and help them. But also on top of that, it leads you to other opportunities as well. When I'm talking to these customers, drones, drone programs, that's becoming a big deal. Vertical facility and vertical assets within the pump stations. They want to bring that into GIS. So that's another new topic. And so I go down that and just ask the question. I'm not looking to sell them that. I'm like, do you have a program? Have you thought about it? Here are use cases for those before we even talk about anything. So that's how I'm kind of transparent when it comes to all that. If there's an issue that's on Esri's side, I'm going to let them know about, because they're going to find out
Yeah.
eventually, but I'd rather find out through me than not through the account manager.
Because you can control that information, as in that, look, I'm telling you this, and you are there when it's being relayed, so that you can deal with the response to that. But also, I think the very fact that you're saying, hey, look, this is how it is. You're probably not going to like it. It's not necessarily good news, but that's what it is. And that transparency, that does build relationships, doesn't it? It
Yeah,
gives you a chance to
absolutely.
fix it, but actually just being so open and honest, people respect that. People like that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. They want to, that no one likes surprises. I don't like surprises. So I live by my mantra of, if you put yourself in your customer's shoes, then there's no room for error, because you
Mm.
will know how you want to be treated like they would want to be treated.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
which
kind
is
of my
yeah,
short
empathetic, isn't
mantra.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then
What's
I
the
have
long mantra?
the long mantra is my why.
God, tell me.
Is my why. My why is, I believe in contributing to a greater cause by seeking depth and detail, ultimately bringing trusted solutions where you can count on me as your go-to professional.
Is is that something that you've worked on then? Because you were able to say that straight off the
Yeah,
cuff,
yeah,
and you've sat and you've thought about that, haven't you?
I've done some things through another guy on LinkedIn, and it's called the iOS Y Institute, and I filled out a survey, and so it's my why, it's my how, what, and why. And to be honest with you, it was really scary reading that, because it really resonated with me of things that I do is what it said. So I took a little bit of pieces from each one of those and put together my why.
Who's that? Go and give him a call out. I'm happy to call people out. If it's
Um,
good
Larry
stuff, let's
Larry
share it.
Larry Levine with selling from
Larry?
the yeah
No, I'm
from
not calling him out. Larry, I'm going to edit this out, mate, if you won't hear it, so I don't even know what I'm saying.
from selling
Larry's
from the heart. He
Larry's
does his Sunday blog, his Sunday whatever. And they said, if you want to contact me to develop your why or whatever. So I did, and he put me in touch with one of his associates, and that's how what I did. You know, it all
Larry's a lovely
resonated
bloke.
from my other guy, my other good guy I like following, like you, Simon Sinek. You know, the Golden Circle.
Yeah.
You know, that's where a lot of this kind of comes from, and
Larry has
leadership.
been a guest on this. Simon Sinek hasn't.
Uh,
Probably not a massive surprise.
well, you should
But
have
Larry's a
you should have. I mean, I've read all the books, everything. It's just you. One of the things is titles don't really mean anything, and I'm kind of hung up on that a little bit right now. But that's my own personal thing. But it's you don't have to be a leader. You know, some leaders at the top aren't leaders, but there are leaders at the bottom that really are leaders and should be leaders because they rally the troops that are down there. And those how you build people, and you look to those people to the left of you and to the right of you and make them successful and move on. So that's my whole big thing about wanting to mentor more people within our company and outside our company, because unfortunately this is one of the things that, or maybe not unfortunately, but fortunately, it's one of the things I love talking about is all of that and what you do for your audience and everybody else does for their audience. And I buy books upon books upon books. I've got books I hadn't even read yet. I'm like, because it resonates with me, and I'm getting to that finite. I'm looking for that really finite discussion. There's another lady, Jen. I don't know if you know her, Jennifer Kruger, with Be the Curious Salesperson. I had a conversation with her last week, and she had downloaded a thing called the 100 questions to ask in a sales call. And so she understands where I'm coming from and what kind of things that I'm looking for to help build build better for the next person.
and I love this, which is why I wanted to talk, well, generally lots of things, but that distilling your why and sort of having it and kind of knowing it and being very clear on it, has that driven you more, do you think? Or put you in the right direction? Well, what's the impact? That'd be a better question. What's the impact
It,
that being so clear on that why has had for
the
you?
the impact is is the customer. The customer drives. I don't have a problem waking up Monday morning and coming to work. I love my job. I love everything about it, from inside the company to outside the company. So that's kind of the why's kind of my whole thing about helping and bringing a trusted solution, being transparent, everything that I've kind of talked about today.
Yeah. Because you're in alignment then. I mean that's something that I've come to more recently. It's what I wrote about in ethical selling as well, because it started to become obvious that if you're out of alignment, if you're trying to do stuff that isn't really you, then you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to react. You're going to kick. In my case, I kick off at it. I'm not a very nice person to be around if I'm out of alignment. If I am in alignment, I'm probably still not, but hey, I'm slightly better. But I think I don't think we talk about this enough, do we? That look, this is important stuff that if you understand this, then you can make sure that you are in doing the right job, right place, right time. And sales might not be right for you, or that type of sales might not be right for you. But this is why you sit so comfortably and are happy to take this job and do it and be comfortable that you're fully aligned.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're spot on with that. Yeah, now everything's not rainbows and unicorns. Obviously, we have there's times where I may not be so happy, but you kind of just look back at some of the other things that have made you successful through that, and that kind of brings you back into alignment a little bit. And it's just when I
Yeah,
find somebody
it's not
who,
all rainbows
yeah,
and unicorns, is
yeah,
it?
it's
But
not all the time, but I'd say those times outweigh the bad times.
when it's not, you start to recognize faster and probably work out why. And that could just be a moment in time, and that's just how it is, and it's just tough. Okay, it happens. Or hang on a minute, I have strayed out of my lane, and it's not going to be not like this unless I pull myself back into where I want to be. So
Right.
I don't know if people find this a little bit woo woo, a little bit kind of oh yeah whatever. I probably would have, to be honest, young Fred. But since I've got my head around it, it is a lot easier. It's a lot easier to
Yeah,
make decisions and do what we do.
exactly. And when I'm getting those downtimes or whatever, I just look at back of what I've done, what I've closed, what I've how did the customer feel, how it's like that, and it just kind of brings a smile back to your face because it's all without customers we can't do anything.
And so you start to get your head around this, and you figured it out for Jay. And now, I guess because it is part of your why, you're saying, well, can I spread the word? Are there other people? Well, there are other people that can benefit from this, which is why you're kind of stepping into mentoring. And then how's that look? What's your mentoring look like? Because I think you mentioned in the company, but also a bit wider.
Yeah, so the mentoring from inside the company, there's a group that was started, it's now 10 years old, called the YPN, which stands for Young Professional Network. And these are students that are at the college level and are looking for GIS jobs or any other kind of jobs that they could build their career and build their cadence and stuff. And so I write blogs for that. It's Esri community, and anybody can go out to Esri community and see things that are written and stuff. And so I started writing blogs like that. So, and I've had several comments about it, and so I'll make a comment to them, and then my last line is, if you need help with anything, here's my cell number. Give me a call. From outside Esri, some of our partners, one particular Novotics, they're an asset management, and I deal with this one guy who covers my kind of territory, and he's been there. He's someone new. He's been there 9 months or so, and like everybody has struggles when they first get, but maybe he's been on calls with me because they stuff back in March and everything. And so I just told him, I said, look, it's if one thing's not working for you, it's kind of like beating your head up against the wall. You if it's not working for you, and you do it, you're going to get the same result. So I mentored him in the way of how I'm doing my discovery. He's in a state. I said, just start with your state, with the people in your state, and build, call them up, get meetings, um, and go do discoveries with them. And there's a lot of different questions. I mean, it would be easy for me to become one of their account managers because I have all the background, but it's taken me years to get where I'm at now. And I can give you all the tools to use and the things to say, and but it comes down to how you're going to your style of selling. I have a very good cadence of talking with a customer, and that's how I kind of like weave myself in. I'm not forceful, I'm not pressure, I'm not it's we're just having a conversation. You know, someone told me one time, just be their best friend. That's
Mm.
all it takes. Just have a conversation and then everything will come out.
Sales is just a conversation.
Right. It's
It,
not about pressure. It's just talk. What are your pain points? Well, why? There's like five whys. It's like
five ways.
you take your car to a mechanic, right? And you say and you say to the mechanic, oh, it's making this noise. And the mechanic says, well, what kind of noise is it making? Okay, it's making a noise. He says, well, how long did that noise start? So he gets through the customer and he ends up diagnosing what the problem was by asking the five whys.
Yeah.
So
I
having a
love the five whys.
conversation, yeah, just having a conversation, I mean, can achieve so much.
Yeah, sometimes we overcomplicate stuff a little bit.
Yeah,
We
we
want to add so
sometimes
many. Yeah,
yeah, sometimes we get in our own way.
yeah. Awesome. I can't believe time has gone so fast chatting about this. But no, I love how you think, and I love how you're trying to to share some of this stuff. Now, I don't want to overload you. Maybe there's people listening to this who think, I want to have a bit of a chat with Jay. It seems like he might help me get on the right track. So where could people get in touch with you?
They can email me to the letter J dash Hoffman at live.com. I have a LinkedIn page. They can look me up on LinkedIn because I do share out a lot of stuff of other quotes and inspirational things and comment on a lot of those, as you probably see my comments and
Yeah,
stuff. And that's really a good place. And anybody can direct message me, and I'm happy to have a conversation if someone's struggling.
yeah, that's decent of you. So yeah, if you're going to reach out, if you heard us chat, say so. And that'll give Jay a reference point. But now I'd say, look, if you want, we've had a couple of really good conversations, so I'd recommend it. I'd say take him up on that offer. But
Yeah. No, this has
Jay,
been great, and I
no, thank you.
appreciate you and the books you've read. I'm almost through the Selling Through Partner Skills. That's my last one. The one that really resonated, I thought was very great, was the Ethical Selling book. That fit me. I look at books that fit my style, and all three of yours did that. And then other ones that I got to stop buying books and start reading.
Well, you've bought my three, so you can.
That's right.
You've read them back. You have read them backwards, but that's fine. Yeah, no, awesome. No, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. I hope you've enjoyed what you heard today. If you did, please get in touch and hit subscribe. And remember, you can take the Collaborative Selling Scorecard for free to check out how your sales approach works in today's environment. You'll find it in the show notes.